Hey friends, so Gypsy and Ken did an interview on Extra TV and it got weird, as things usually do with them. It got really weird. And FYI, I'm having some issues with my microphone cutting out and losing sound on half my recordings. So I'm just recording with my laptop mic today. I hope the sound's not too bad until I get that issue figured out. So let's take a look at the interview. Some of the answers were beyond cringe, like they just didn't make any sense.
So now it helps with drama on the show, but in real life, you had to take a paternity test. Were you nervous?
No, I mean, I knew what the results were going to be all along. Everything from the beginning checked out to where
Ken looks really uncomfortable with this question. Obviously he would know that this question is going to happen, but it doesn't stop him from looking super anxious.
it was going to, we never had any doubts that it was going to be our kid. We did the paternity test early to, calm the mind or ease the minds of everyone else involved. And then we just did another one for, legal reasons, but we knew all along.
That's interesting because creators had been saying that the test that they did earlier wouldn't prevent the law from going into effect that would declare Ryan as the dad. But I think Gypsy denied that, but who knows? Apparently that was true.
Along what the results were going to be.
All right, put some earmuffs on. Did you know all along?
I knew.
The shade.
I was like,
The shade.
we're having a baby. I mean, the timeline of everything, I knew who the father was the whole time. So.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, I mean,
He didn't look like he believed her. And also, if she knew, why was she sending those pregnancy tests to Ryan early on? I mean, were they just completely fake? Was she, who knows? But yeah, I find that all very sus. And I don't get the impression that the host believes her either. What do y'all think?
years ago
Mm-hmm.
about that, right?
Right.
What made you fall in love? What was what did it?
Well, for me, I always felt like a very strong connection. Like we were, as they say, cut from the same cloth. It's like when you're so connected to someone that you really don't need words to speak to them. They're there.
I'm going to have to go back and look in her books, but didn't she say the exact same thing about Nick and Ryan? Y'all remember? I'm pretty sure.
For you. And that was what I felt for him 7 years ago, and it still rings true today.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it was like the chemistry, the connection that we had, the ability to talk for hours on end and not get bored, and just realizing that this is very much my person, someone who I confided in with everything. And yeah.
Ken is bouncing. He just seems so anxious about answering these questions.
Someone who I just really enjoyed having in my life.
How do you communicate today? Like when there's a disagreement?
I think we're both the type of people that get in our feelings.
Oh,
But
yeah, I
the
could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
good thing is the recovery. The recovery is excellent. I'll be one to go up to him and be like, you know what? I acted a little harsh. I'm sorry.
This sounds like someone, like the type of people who say it's good to fight because of the makeup. That sounds toxic to me. What do y'all think?
I love you. And he's the same way. So we have great issue resolving techniques.
Wait, you're with a woman who can say sorry? She says sorry to you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
She's embellishing a little bit. But,
Oh, whatever.
Gypsy Rose, what about the challenges of being a mom, just given the abuse that you suffered as a child?
I feel like my past doesn't really have any effect on how I am with my own daughter. The only way.
That's interesting because she claims that her past affects basically everything else about her. It's always her excuse for everything, but she doesn't think it is going to have any effect on her being a mother when supposedly the whole source of her trauma was her mother, so much so that she feels justified in ending her mother. I mean, justified. She tries to say that, she doesn't want people to say that she did the right thing. But if she's out here saying she's going to be a figure of inspiration, what is she inspiring for? She says, because I overcome it. Will she overcome it by doing MURDER, matricide? So where's the inspiration here? Ugh, anyway.
It affects it is I realize like how much I want to give her, how much happiness
That was a little cringe. That was a little rehearsed. Okay.
I want to give her, because looking back on my childhood,
Reminds me of, people who come into interviews for a new job and they always have that question, what is your biggest weakness? And the people who try and humble brag their way out of that question, they're like, I work too hard. I just work too hard. I care too much. That's what this is giving to me.
I realize where my mom went wrong, and with that knowledge, I'm taking it, applying it, and choosing not to follow.
Is there a specific way she went wrong, or do you mean just in
general?
In general, the story everyone knows.
In general, I mean, according to Gypsy, if you believe everything she said, there is a very specific way that Dee Dee went wrong. And if you believe Gypsy's story, it has a specific name, Munchausen by proxy. Sometimes with my accent, I call it Manchausen. I've been made fun of that in the comments, and that's okay. Y'all keep on. I like engagement. But yeah, this would have been the perfect opportunity for her to actually advocate for some of the things that she says she wants to advocate for that she experienced. And giving answers like she's giving here feeds everybody's skepticism. And I wonder, does she know that? Is it a manipulative tactic? Is it more rage bait? Because I think she rage baits a lot. Y'all might have noticed I haven't done any Gypsy Rose videos in a while because I feel like a lot of her recent controversies were rage bait. Well, the Post Malone concert, posing in front of all those kegs, everybody knows her alcohol parole terms. And to me, when I saw that, my thought was there's absolutely no way that her PO doesn't already know that she's going to the concert, doesn't already know, and isn't already planned on, probably an alcohol test the next day. And, I've had friends in the liquor distribution industry before, and most of those displays are empty like that. That's the facts. If that's changed since back in the day when I knew anything about this, which was a good 10 years ago, somebody correct me in the comments. But yeah, I felt like posing like that was rage bait, just like having, grape juice in the wine glass, rage bait. And also, I think it tries to bait people to call her PO for non-issues. So then she can say to her PO, look at all this ridiculousness I'm so beset upon. Don't even pay any attention to any PO calls. And the PO's office does get overwhelmed. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent now. We're supposed to be reacting here, but I get annoyed.
Yeah, the story everyone knows, and little things that maybe people don't know.
Little things that maybe people don't know. Is she about to tell us about some more ABUSC?
Like just kind of like decisions that she made. Like she didn't have a baby shower, and so I chose to have a baby shower. It's just kind of like little things that are not really so significant, but it individualizes me as a mom and separates.
It's maybe a bit of a controversial take, but I don't think your baby shower has anything to do with how you are as a mom. Most people's baby showers are thrown for them by other people, by family or friends, and isn't really related to the mother's parenting. What a weird example. What's she going to say next? I'm never going to wear muumuus?
Separates me from my mom.
I went to a
He looks confused.
childhood, I went to a retreat one time to learn about, the patterns of childhood. But a lot of times we either adopt things like our parents, we become.
He's trying to bring her back to reality because her answer was nonsense.
Just exactly like them, or we act in total rejection of them, like, oh, I'm not going to be that. Do you ever catch yourself doing one or the other?
Absolutely. I feel like I reject a lot of the things that my mom did and apply more things that is kind of like we work on things and decisions together whenever it comes to Aurora. So
I mean, Dee Dee didn't have anyone to work with. I'm not you trying to shade Rod here because that was all way in the past and Dee Dee wasn't perfect either. But, she was older and he was a teenager. He was basically taken advantage of there, in my opinion. But uh, her examples are weird. Like, anyway.
For example, I got my ears pierced as a baby. And I asked Ken, I was like, should we get her ears pierced? So I got mine pierced as a baby. He's like, no, she can decide that when she's 13. I was like, okay, that works.
I'm with Ken.
That's her example of how she is going to parent different from her mom, that she didn't have an opinion on whether the baby got its ears pierced. And Ken said, no, let's wait and let her choose. And she said, okay. She didn't even make a decision. She didn't actually do parenting there. She asked Ken and abided by it. What on earth, y'all? Anyway, these examples are weird as hell because he's obviously trying to say, how are you sure that you're not going to abuse your daughter in any similar way? And she's deflecting with, I'm different from my mom. She didn't have a baby shower and I did. And I didn't just pierce my baby's ears when I thought of it. I asked Ken and let him say no. I'm different. God, y'all, this is weird. It's weird. Like, we've been told that Gypsy is paying a PR team, and she does seem to have gotten a bit more polished. She hasn't been out saying anybody's got her by the short and curlies recently or anything like that, but she doesn't seem to have gotten coaching on good answers. Or is it the case that she knows that the good answers she has of her stories are just lies that are going to be picked apart so bad, she's throwing out ridiculous stuff like this?
Consulting Ken. Ken the
Yeah.
consultant. I
Yes.
think that's a good one.
Heard it from the Bushman.
Heard it from the Do you ever worry about, am I going to be a good mom? I think overall you're going to do better than what came before you,
Absolutely.
just by showing up.
Not worry per se, but definitely whenever like 2 weeks after I had her, the postpartum hormone definitely gave me greater insight into the emotions that I felt now having a child of my own. Everything was felt so much stronger.
Someday, Aurora's going to have Google.
Ooh.
Do you have a plan? Just thinking ahead of time, we will roll this story out, not let Aurora put the pieces together
Right.
Yeah.
on her own.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously had this discussion. We know that that day will come at some point, and I think that we have a plan. We're gonna,
Ken is bouncing again. He is nervous, y'all.
navigate that as a family, come together, have those conversations when she's old enough to understand, and maybe have some therapy in the mix too for all of us, her included.
Nice. Why can't you guys live together?
We make it work, and we honestly just focus on the positive and look at the fact that it's only 3 months away to where this won't be a problem anymore.
Okay.
Right.
So we just kind of keep focused on that, and
You might miss your me time. I'll say that. Right?
Oh,
Can't miss you if you don't go away, honey.
Right.
yeah. No, I know
And
exactly what you mean.
he just said, I know. Ken said, I know exactly what you mean. He looked, I think that was the question or the statement he was related to that the hostess made. Oh my God, y'all.
You celebrated your first year of freedom. So what was the highlight? You've had a lot of action.
A lot of action. I think the highlight, and not to sound cheesy, but the highlight was reconnecting with Ken. We
baby.
spent a few weeks together of just weekends where we just had a blast, reconnecting, going on a boat tour,
Yeah.
going to jazz
Baby.
festival in New Orleans.
You had a baby.
And then having a baby.
and then I got
that we're gonna
pregnant.
have a
So
baby.
Ken had a reminder.
that was how fast it
Busy,
happened.
busy.
A lot
Oh my
kind of got
God.
compacted, but it was a great
Yes.
highlight
You
of
guys
the year.
seem to roll with the punches pretty well. I'll say that.
Wow.
You sent a message to the Menendez brothers, right?
I think I got interviewed and they asked me my opinion on it.
Like you said, don't
Yeah,
go
don't.
running.
This host is being so subtly shady. Like, would you catch the subtle shade there? It is masterful.
into Hollywood.
Don't run into Hollywood because I mean it is stressful. Coming out of prison is very
They don't need
stressful.
to. Did you know this? The Menendez brothers have made like all kinds of Bitcoin money.
I don't
I have
even
no
know what
idea.
Bitcoin
Eric made like
is.
$3.5 million on the.
That just took the wind out of Gypsy's sails there. She really was trying to, I feel like, take on a bit of a mentor tone with them coming out. And he's like, by the way, you realize they don't need to shell out shows or work. Oh yeah, she was shocked.
He's making money on his laptop.
No
right
way.
now. Oh yeah.
That's
These are
nuts.
smart guys.
That's
Wow.
nuts.
Like they're not coming out completely broke.
That's good. That's good because having at least a little bit of cushion.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
where it's
Bitcoin
at.
money, they're good. They can
Ken
just-
looks so jealous.
Right? I mean, you
The jokes could write themselves there, y'all. I'm not saying a word. Ken just looked jealous.
you've got this show right
Mhm.
away. Was it hard to take on? Did you have enough time between incarceration and production?
I mean, with the crew that we have an amazing crew. This crew that we have had for a year.
Talking about our Lifetime show is boring, y'all.
Well, Life After Lockup. It's premiering on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
What will people see?
People will see everything that I've been doing the last year, but they're also going to see a lot of the things
Pregnant.
that have been already like put in the media, the small little glimpses and articles. They don't know the full background story of everything, so I feel like they will get to see everything happen.
You don't know her excuses.
In its truest form, instead of just getting little bits
Oh,
of
the truest
information here
form.
and there from the internet.
You guys like it, or will there be a season 3 if everyone's on board?
We'll see what
Maybe,
happens, yeah.
maybe.
And I just wanted to add to that. Yeah, I think there's like a lot of misinformation and
Oh, Ken's
frankly
bouncing.
like entirely fake cinematic universes created on like TikTok and whatnot about like what our lives are. And I think that
Give me
it's,
one. Give
it's
me
all
one that pisses you off.
Oh, gosh,
no,
there's
let's
so
just not.
many.
Let's just not.
It's on the tip of his tongue. He wants to say morbid, but he knows saying morbid on extra TV will drastically increase the subscribers.
That the baby's not real.
Yes, that is
that
the
she
biggest
faked a
one.
pregnancy.
That
Like,
it's a
it's-
doll. That we've just been carrying a doll around.
Have you? I've been meaning to ask you. Are you
See what I mean? All the shade. Like he made it a joke there, but he just flawlessly, seamlessly acted like, that's not even a conspiracy theory. Well, have you?
carrying a plastic Aurora?
No, unless it's one that can spit up, poop, pee. I've got every kind of anything on me.
The baby's real.
The baby's real.
The baby's real. So yeah, like if you
Is
want
the
like
baby an alien?
No.
Okay.
if you want the truest and purest actual view of our lives, then you'll have to
The
watch
show.
our show on Lifetime.
Okay, that's interesting to me because whenever they're promoting the show, it's the truest, most factual view of their lives. And once the season comes out, when they're in damage control, when all of us content creators start pointing out the inconsistencies, they'll be like, you can't trust that show because of the editing. It's like whenever, I was on that live with Christy Blanchard and I pointed out a small error and it was a kind of a sensitive topic. So it's no big deal that Christy had that wrong. But I was like, well, but Christy, the book says different. She's like, that book has so many errors. So I'm curious to see after the season comes out, how soon we'll have Ken going, oh, the editing, you can't trust that.
Amazing. Okay, Monday, they're back for season 2. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What do y'all think? Did you guys notice the subtle shade that I was picking up on from the host? And did Ken seem nervous to you? Because he seemed nervous as hell to me with a lot of those questions. Let me know in the comments, y'all.